Yo, what's going on everyone? Nathan here. So I recently picked up the Apple Watch Series 7, and yes, I know that this is about a year late because the Series 8 is already out, but I truly think that the Series 7 is the best Apple Watch to pick up in 2023 if you're on the market for a series style watch. So if you want a full rundown as to why I think this is, then I will leave a link somewhere here on the screen because I just made a video comparing the 6 to the 7 to the 8 and why this is honestly the one that you should go with. But I have now had it for a couple weeks and I'm ready to give my full review of this Apple product. So let's hop right into it. So for my Series 7, I went with the aluminum frame in this abyss blue color, which looks really nice. If this blue isn't for you, then they've also made the Series 7 in midnight, starlight, green, and product red, all in the aluminum frame. And if you want one made out of stainless steel, then those come in graphite, silver, and gold. But if you really want to ball out, then they also make the Series 7 in titanium, and those two colorways are space black and then just plain old titanium. The Series 7 also comes in two different sizes. I personally have the 45mm version, but if you have smaller wrists, then you can always get the 41mm option. For me, it fits very comfortably, and for someone with average size hands and wrists, it does not feel too big at all. And I'm coming from someone who had the SE, which is just ever so slightly smaller than this Apple Watch. So again, average wrist sizes, and I think the 45mm fits perfect on me. And the last option you can pick from when ordering your Series 7 is whether you want regular GPS, which is what I have on mine, or if you want to go places like without your phone or go for runs without your phone, then you can get the cellular version, and this will come with a little red ring around the digital crown so you know which one's which. Besides the new colors and some changes that I'll get into in a little bit, the Apple Watch has essentially the same design since its first iteration. On the right side, you'll find the digital crown and home button. On the left side, you will see a single speaker cutout when there used to be two. On the bottom are a bunch of sensors, and above and below, there are releases for your Apple Watch bands. To change out a band, you press in one of these release buttons, and then you just push out your watch band. And quite the opposite, if you want to put one in, you just slide the watch band in, and you should hear a small click when it's secured in place. So luckily, I have found that all of my older watch bands that were made for the SE do still fit and work with this Apple Watch. It might not be a perfect fit like edge to edge, but it still secures in place. It still works. So thank God that Apple kind of made these interchangeable and you don't have to go completely buy new watch bands if you don't want to. So one of the biggest upgrades that you will find in the Series 7 over the Series 6, and it's still exactly the same for the Series 8, I hope that made sense, is its display. This has an always-on Retina LTPO OLED display, which essentially just means that it's very good. It now has 396 by 484 pixels, and not only has this display been increased by 1mm on both sizes offered, but the bezels around the display have also been decreased from 3mm to 1.7mm all the way around. So these two things together make for a noticeably larger display, and it's just a lot more modern looking. These smaller bezels make the display much easier to interact with, and the display now curves around to the sides of the Apple Watch, and this new shape actually increases the strength of the screen itself. So simply put, simple physics, because now it is more rounded, any impacts will be dispersed a little more evenly throughout, and it's just going to help with cracks and scratches. So if you plan on using this for like high activity sports or anything like that, high contact, it should be a little more durable for you and last. You might not have to worry about it breaking as easily. So what's really cool is you can actually see some of the text and display bleeding over from the sides of the Apple Watch. So there's like no function to this. I just think it's kind of cool how they're actually now wrapping the display in the Apple Watch. So this display has a max brightness of 1000 nits, which is plenty bright for any sort of outdoor activities. I never have a problem with seeing what's being displayed on my Apple Watch. But one place where this did get a little bit of a brighter screen over the Series 6 is with this always-on display. So when it's in its dim state of the always-on, like when you put your hand down to the side, that dim state is ever so slightly brighter than the Series 6. Nothing major, but it is something that has changed I wanted to point out to you. This display gives everything more room, and it doesn't feel so cluttered as it did on the previous Apple Watches. The display is noticeable every single time I interact with it, and coming from an original Apple Watch SE, it is honestly night and day, and I'm a big fan of this improved display. This larger display now comes with exclusive software features that you can only find on the Series 7 and now Series 8 as well. This comes in the form of two new watch faces, The first one being the contour watch face, which pushes the numbers to the very edge, and when you move the digital crown, it has this smooth animation and it enlarges the numbers as you go across it. You also get the modular duo, which is just like the modular watch face on the smaller Apple Watches, but now you get two large complications so you can see even more valuable information at a glance, and I think that this is extremely useful. Besides the watch faces, this larger display also now gives you access to a new keyboard on your Apple Watch to text people with. You can use the swiping method if you want, and I honestly find this a little easier to use than the actual text itself, but this actually makes it more of a viable way to text people back instead of like hand drawing out each letter. Either the swipe or the actual keyboard is a much better way to contact people. And the last software changes is that this larger display also gives you new buttons inside of applications for easier navigation, and you also get two larger font sizes with this. So if you had a hard time reading fonts on your previous Apple Watch, the bigger display and larger text should now help out a lot. So moving over to some of the internals, believe it or not, Apple has actually been reusing and like rebranding the internals, like the CPU, of the past 3 Apple Watch generations. So the same processor that was in the Series 6 is the same one that's in the Series 7, and that's the same one that's in the Series 8. So all 3 of them, you're gonna find the exact same performance, and there is no performance benefit from the 7 over the 6 and vice versa. So I just wanna put that out there with this Apple Watch. Besides that though, the Series 7 also has their W3 and U1 chips inside of it, and this makes for seamless Apple integration with the rest of their products. This watch also gets Bluetooth 5.0, so you can expect good Bluetooth range, and it does work quite well. So one good thing is that this Apple Watch does have 32 gigabytes of internal storage in it, so you can download music right onto this watch and you can listen to it while running just by connecting a pair of Bluetooth headphones to it. So you don't always have to take your phone with you while running when you have this watch. So let's talk about some of the sensors on the bottom of this Apple Watch, since that's such a large reason why so many people get Apple Watches. So not to disappoint, but the Series 7 actually has the exact same sensors as the Series 6. So I'm gonna run through quickly a list of all the different sensors that are inside this Apple Watch. Ready? This is kind of crazy. So inside, you'll get a blood oxygen sensor, an electrical heart rate sensor, their 3rd gen optical heart rate sensor, accelerometer, gyroscope, compass, ambient light sensor, speakers, microphones, and the 3 chips that I mentioned earlier. That's just actually insane, like how much Apple fits inside this little tiny computer on your hand. It's awesome. It's so cool. And a few other little features is that this Apple Watch does support Apple Pay, which I think is super cool, paying with your wrist. And it's also now IPX6 dust resistant, as well as the same water resistance up to 50 meters. So you can take this in the shower, take it in the pool, it'll be perfectly fine. So moving on to battery life, the Series 7 will get you 18 hours of battery life on a single charge, which is plenty good for anyone to make it throughout an entire day, whether you're working out or not. But I don't think this is personally good enough if you want to also track sleep at night. It won't last you the full time, and then you're gonna wake up the next morning and have to charge it right then and there. So that's one problem with the Apple Watches, that they're not meant for extended days in a row. But one huge upgrade that Apple made with the Series 7 is that now it does support fast charging. This only works with Apple's new USB-C fast charging puck, which is included in the box for the Series 7. Here's the thing, I ordered mine renewed off of Amazon. I'll get more into that a little later on in the video, but it did not come with the USB-C charger. It came with the regular USB-A charging puck for older Apple Watches. I didn't know that. I guess I didn't read the fine print, so it is what it is, but I'll tell you what Apple does claim that this fast charging can give. I just can't give my own personal opinion with it. Apple claims that this fast charging can now recharge your watch from 0 to 80% in just 45 minutes, and in total, it'll charge your watch about 33% quicker than previous generations. So now I think that you can actually sleep track with your Apple Watch, wear it the whole day, sleep with it, and then when you get up in the morning, put it on its fast charger, and by the time you're done getting ready, eating breakfast, showering, whatever, it'll be probably about that 45 minutes. You'll be at 80%, and then that'll last you the next full day. So it is definitely a lot more practical to sleep track with the Series 7. So if you're looking to purchase an Apple Watch Series 7, unfortunately, Apple does not sell them on their own website anymore, and you're most likely gonna have to find it through Amazon as new or as renewed or refurbished. Mine is actually a renewed model, which saved me a lot of money. Personally, it costed me $292, but depending on the size you get, what conditions it comes in, and also the seller, it can range between $275 to about $340. So since this is not Apple certified refurbished and it's just renewed through Amazon and the companies that they work with, even if you order in excellent condition, it's not guaranteed that it'll come back perfect. Mine certainly didn't, and I'm actually going to make a full video onto my own personal experience buying a renewed product through Amazon. So if you're interested in that, if it's already made, I'll link it here, but stay tuned for that video. So my personal experience with this Apple Watch is that it's honestly been amazing. Ever since I got my first Apple Watch 5 years ago, it has been one of my favorite Apple products I've ever bought. I mainly use my Apple Watch for fitness tracking, recording my workouts, looking at notifications, checking the weather, changing music, and of course, looking at the time. So I highly recommend picking up an Apple Watch for yourself if you own an iPhone, and if you don't mind spending the extra money for a Series watch over the SE, then definitely go with the Series 7. You don't need the little couple extra features in the Series 8, and I would rather you spend your money on some Apple Watch bands, as you'll use those so much more than the little extra features in the Series 8. So if you want the Series 7, I'll link it down below as updated prices on Amazon. They're probably going to be renewed, as that's probably the only place you can be able to find them. So that's going to be another video. If you enjoyed it, then please don't forget to hit the like button down below and subscribe. And as always, have a great day, everyone, and cheers.